Hello, everyone. I'm Ashley Williams, and this is my GRC 315 illustration portfolio presentation. So to start, we have the presentation that I did mid-semester, which was on Marie Sendak. So that's this. Fast forward through. And now let's get to the work that I did this semester. So at the beginning of the semester, we started with an Aesop's Fable public domain story illustration. So we started with mind maps. So that's what I have here are my mind maps. I did Tortoise and the Hare, The Old Man in Death, and The Wolf Sleeps in Sheep's, or The Wolf in Sheep's Clothing. After doing the mind maps, I had chosen to go ahead and move forward with The Old Man in Death, and these were the thumbnail sketches that I did. Unfortunately, time got away from me on this project, and I did not end up getting through the entire illustration, so I only got to the thumbnail stage of this project. The next project, we began with coming up with a movie or story title and a sentence that described the overarching idea of our story. And it needed to be described in 25 words or less. So the title of my story was Underneath, and the sentence was, when Ophelia's baby brother is taken hostage by the monsters under the bed, she must travel to their world underneath to rescue him before daybreak. So from here, we went into designing the characters for this story. So these are the characters that I designed: Ophelia, Roland, and Gromit is the monster under the bed. And this is the grayscale version of those in the lineup. And this is the color version in the lineup. Once we had designed those characters, we also designed kind of the environment that they were in. So I went ahead and designed the bedroom where Ophelia and Roland sleep. So this was the line work for that environment drawing, which is kind of as far as we got with this part of this. After that, we started working on the comic book. So we're making a comic of this story, and this is kind of my process or progress, starting with my sketches and my word bubbles. After kind of discussing this with Chef, we decided, or he kind of advised, that my word bubbles needed to be more straight up and down. So for the next iteration, I kind of fixed the word bubbles and the font sizes and things like that. And then from there, I kind of finalized it a little more, and this is what I turned in for the final in the class, and was advised that there was a little bit too much contrast here. So I went back and kind of added some darkness here on the right side. I do think the contrast is a little lacking now, and maybe these images are a little bit too dark. I think in time I'll go back and probably clean these up even a little bit more. So that was that project. And then for the comic book, we also created a splash page. So this again is what I turned in originally, and was advised to maybe crop the room a little bit differently. Also, maybe these eyes weren't really working. Maybe there's color, a spooky color coming out from under the bed, things of that nature. So I did another iteration of it, and this is what I came up with. I think this gives a little more tension. Um, it also highlights the title a little bit better. So I think that this really kind of helped a lot for this iteration. After we finished with the comic book, we were asked to create or use a character from our comic book and um, draw a turnaround of that character so that we could sculpt the character later on. So this is my turnaround. This is Melvin the mini monster. He could be a part of the story, I think, maybe a child monster in the story. That was kind of my thought process on it. So this is his turnaround, the front, side, and back of him. From here, we started the sculpting process. I think this was probably my favorite part of this whole class. I struggle a little bit drawing traditionally, but I feel like I have a better idea of how to make things in a three-dimensional space. So I felt like this was one of my more successful projects. Here is the armature that I made for Melvin. After making the armature, I started to add clay. So here we're starting to see him being built, building that clay onto him. I also added some foil for his legs to kind of stabilize those, which you can sort of see here. This is a continuation of the sculpting process. Once I got his legs on, then we started adding a little bit more features and kind of shaping him a little bit better. And then this is the sculpt finish pre-bake. So this was before I put him in the oven. And then this is a turnaround of him. And then after I baked him, I painted him, and this was the final, his final version. I really loved how this turned out, and I think that this was probably my most successful of all the projects in the class. I really enjoyed this class a lot, and I appreciate all the experience that I got from being in the class. Thanks, guys.